So, like I said, it doesn't matter whether it's this side or if you want to flip it over and see the other side. One side might be a little bit bumpier, one side might not be. You can just, whatever. Take your pencil, mechanicals, you can kind of pull out your lead a little bit more. Those of you with regular pencils, you know, just take it and all you're going to do is just write your name. If you would be kind enough just to write a 2 somewhere next to your name, just so that in case when it comes out of the kiln, I mean, I know you, I know your name, but sometimes, you know, being an old fart that I am, I kind of forget, oh yeah, Brooks is in my second period, right? So it just helps me when I get them out of the kiln and I bring them back into the room. It helps me know, okay, yeah, I need to put this in second period. All right, now once you have all that information on your clay, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that part of your clay is no longer seen. So you're going to flip it over. You can place it back in. Now, if it's too big for your plate right now, don't worry about that. That's okay. We're going to deal with that in a moment. All right? Or we'll deal with it later, I should say. All right. So I'm going to give you guys circles if you're doing kind of a cylinder shaft kind of thing, right? Now, if you're doing rectangles, you may want to use this just to help you kind of figure out, you know, how big it should be, or if you're doing kind of an oval shape. But I don't want my tree, I'm doing that tree stump, but I don't want it to be a perfect circle. So I'm just kind of using this to kind of barely scratch my surface. And I'm not tracing the whole thing, right? I've just got some scratches in there. But the best thing, do not stick the lip. See this lip? Do not stick the lip down into your clay, because what's going to happen? It's going to get stuck in the clay, right? So you want to make sure that lip is up in the air and that it's the flat side. Now, I want my tree trunk to be kind of oblong, so now that I have this, I'm going to kind of take some liberties, you know, and make my tree trunk different. I want it to be a little interesting. So I've kind of maneuvered my shape a little bit, right? Because the tree's going to grow slightly different as it grows. So you're using this as a base to help you figure out how big is my shaft or the home going to be, right? And again, if you're doing something rectangular, use the circles to a degree to help you figure out the sizing, but then you understand what I'm saying? Then kind of finagle it a little bit. You don't have to trace up straight. Now, if you want to trace, now that I've figured out my tree, my shape of my cylinder, I got to build vertically right now. So I'm concerned about building a wall. So you're going to get some clay from me in a little bit, and you can use your gray tools. You can just rip it with your hands. It's up to you how you get your clay, right? But I'm going to start making those coils, and I want them to be about the size of a pencil, like thickness. And so I'm just going to keep building, and I'm going to build like 5 or 6 different size ones, lengths, but I'm trying to keep them all roughly the same thickness. And remember, the faster I build, the less moisture I steal from the clay, which is good. So I always want to have about 5 or 6 on hand. Hey Brooks, will you pick that up for me? Thanks, bud. All right, now that I have a good pile, I'm going to use my slip first, and I'm going to go along the edge here, and I'm going to slip this drawing, this design that I put in here. And then I'm going to scratch it using my tool. It's okay if I get outside the shape. And then I'm going to start slipping these guys just like we did yesterday in class. I'm going to score them, and then I'm going to follow that design. Kind of firmly press. It's okay if one side's a little bit thicker or bigger. It's a tree. It doesn't have to be totally perfect. But so you're just going to use that as a guide to go all the way around. And now you can understand, why do I want to have so many at one time? Because now I'm working rather than having to stop working and then remake. And then I just kind of rip off the excess there. And this is going to be the shape of my tree trunk. I can still maneuver it a little bit if I want to. It doesn't have to be perfectly the design I made, but at least I have the shape. Then I'm just going to start that process. I'm going to do the next one. I'm going to slip all the way around. And I'm going to score. I'm going to slip, score, always slip and score. And then I'm just adding right on top of the last layer. I'm going to start slowing down because I know I'm going fast. And I want to make sure I press pretty good. I can put my finger in here and start to slip that bottom one. Probably should have done that first. And that's all you're doing, right? Until you get to about 6 inches, maybe 5.5, right? So we're gonna have rulers out, not today obviously, because we're not gonna get that high unless you guys are incredibly fast builders, right? And we're just gonna keep building. No worries about texture right now, no worries about windows, no worries about door. Right now it's just build. All right, we're making